Alright, so this is Sunday. Fast begins. Actually, technically we're on Monday now. I'll be keeping documentation during the week. Posterity's sake, I suppose. I haven't eaten anything since about 5 p.m. So I just spent some time making some juices, and tomorrow I need to finish making the vegetable juice, the broth. Basically some different liquids that I read about that I can take during an extended fast. And I need to get some sleep. Here we go. So it's been a little bit over 24 hours, and Devil's been working overtime trying to get me to stop my fast. I have 101 fever and a little bit of phlegm and a little bit of aches, but I'm not quite sure if that's from dehydration or not, because they said lower back pain can be from dehydration. Considering I'm not getting any liquid from foods, I have to get more liquid into my system. So, I'm not sure on that one. The trick is going to be to ask people for prayer. Yes, we don't want to contort our faces and whatnot and be like, oh, I'm fasting. Ugh. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Fasting is a beautiful thing to draw us closer to God. It's one of the Christians' most powerful tools in their faith, to walk in complete submission to God. I'm relying completely on Him for my health and to be sustained, especially because I'm going to be working 3 of these days, and I stock large boxes of frozen foods. So, it should be interesting. Not to mention, Friday and Saturday. Saturday has 2 shows that we're not doing on Easter. But doing the play, I get an apple shoved in my mouth. Talk about temptation. So, liquid's okay, just I can't bite down and take a bite. Thankfully, I'm far enough away I can mime it. Although, by God's good graces, I was going to start ballet this week, and the person that asked me to join said that she had to work tomorrow, so she wanted to postpone my starting until next week. So, thank God for that. I mean, I was looking forward to joining, but in the middle of a fast might be kind of taxing. I had BSF tonight, so spent a lot of time in God's Word, not as much as I'd like, but I slept most of it. It turns out because of the fever, whatever, it's making me sick. So I slept most of today. Got a good number of things done, though, too, and time in God's Word, so I'm going to bed early and get an early start working tomorrow. So part of an extended fast is the ability to consume some juices. So I've been having to make my own. I have a fruit juice, of which I combined a couple of different fruits that I made the other day. I probably need to make another batch because I'm almost out. That I then mixed with a mango thing from Naked. Anyway, right now I'm trying, because I don't have a food processor, so I'm trying just with a blender to make a vegetable juice mixture. I just finished the first batch. Not exactly the most yummy looking thing. So the ingredients I'm using are celery, romaine lettuce, and carrots. And then to help liquefy it, I'm adding in some of this. What I then do is I have to strain it out to get all the solids out. Make sure it's only liquids I'm getting. So I have to pretty much pour it through that and then squish it down, stamp it in to make sure I get all the liquids out of it. It's a time-consuming process, so I really have to work for my food. This blender's from the 70s, so I have to be careful with it. So what we're left with is this paste. Liquid, not very much. So I'll probably fill this container up a quarter, maybe a third of the way. Here's the finished pile. I guess it's time to try it. Yummy. Alright, so it's been about 55 hours in so far. Still kind of sick. Devil's still attacking me on that end, trying to get me to in that. I gotta say, working at various grocery stores throughout the day for my work doesn't help. You know, I'm fine until I get a whiff of something or there's a sample plate just ready there. I never realized how much of a knee-jerk it was for me to grab just something to snack on. As I've been noticing, I've had to like stop myself as I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go get, oh wait, I'm not supposed to be doing that. And then my mom's food smelled really good. It has every night. But it's okay. So I was kind of upset with myself at first for not immediately diving into full-on, prayer time with God to the degree that I expected. But then I got to realize that my prayer life was kind of broken before. It wasn't as good as it should have been. So I can't expect the second I start in on the fast. So I've had to realize that this is something that this is part of my time to learn this, not just start doing it, but learning how to do it, learning how to talk to God, learning how to spend time with Him. Just like, a lot of people, you don't automatically go in knowing exactly how to spend all the time with Him. Yeah, sometimes you want to, but you got to figure out how to, work it into your schedule, or how to remember to go, I'm going about my day. Oh, I need to. That's not right either. I don't know, maybe it's just my brain. I tend to get lost in what I do and have no sense of time. Sometimes I waste so much time doing things when I just think it's been 10 minutes, it's been an hour, so I don't know. My brain's weird that way. No sense of time. Drove Wesley's mom nuts because she had a perfect sense of timing. So I had that little thought, but I do need to definitely work at that. I'm getting better with my BSF though, which is good. My Bible study fellowship study has a thing to do every single day, and so I've always been very terrible about doing it and like rushing to do all of it the last second. So now I'm trying to be a bit better about it. Since it's also spending time with God, it's a really good structured way to get started into doing that. Trying to figure out how much time I'm really spending with God when I'm working in thought. My job is a very mindless job in the sense of sometimes it's just stacking things on a shelf, and there's a lot of extra room in your brain. It doesn't really require a lot because there's a certain order things have to be done in. There's not a more efficient way to do it unless you're able to just move faster. So I have a lot of time to think and to talk with God inwardly out there, but I gotta figure out what I'm doing there and how much of it is really time well spent with God. I've been talking with someone who attends a kind of Judaic-focused Christian church about the concepts of what the Bible says about Jews and Gentiles. Not really, they're all just, if they're believers, they're believers. It's not really a differentiation in the understanding that God freed Jews just as much as Gentiles from, the burden of law versus grace. She kind of had the mentality of thinking that it was the Gentiles and only from some. But it's a lot more complicated than that, because it has to do with degrees of freedom Paul talks about, those of stronger versus weaker faith, but also not making those of weaker faith stumble and not persecuting those of stronger faith. Also talking about how that involved with Jews' thoughts on circumcision at this point, the idea of individually called paths. So it was a pretty in-depth discussion. And then just a little bit ago I got a message from a gentleman that I knew prior to coming to faith, but also became a brother that I came to for a lot of the harder questions, the harder subjects, because we, even when we disagreed, always seemed to be able to have a very structured discussion about it, very well well-mannered and very civil discussion. I always enjoyed that. But he just kind of gave me some of his encouragement and his rooting for me for my fast. So that was good to hear from him. He was someone that I've looked up to for quite a long time in his walk with God. I guess he's really, really good with the first greatest commandment. I would say that technically everyone is bad with the second, but I think I've focused more on the second than I have on the first, in the sense of in discussions, in the need for possible, social reformation within the Christian church about it. Whereas a lot of people might talk about a revival, I'm interested in kind of an action reform, an opening of the eyes to, I think, because true Christians do love God the way they do. I think if they could understand more about the second greatest commandment and how important it was, that they would be more open to doing the harder things. A lot of people will argue away from trying hard to do the second, do the really difficult, the very uncomfortable things on we really suck at it, and we're sinful people, so why even try? And I think it's a very poor mentality, because I remember God says, paraphrasing, God forgives us as we forgive each other. That kind of puts forgiveness way up there in importance, huh? I mean, at least to the degree, I guess, the way God forgives us, as opposed to, yes, God forgives us, but then again, that goes into the whole argument of faith without works is dead, and obviously forgiveness is a kind of work. So, do we truly have faith if we're not willing to do the work? Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. This is the end of day 2.5, technically, because Sunday ends halfway through, so yeah, end of day 2.5, time to go to bed. Alright, so we're at hour 91. Now, I was going to do one last night, but I passed out on the couch before I got a chance to. My father's determination this morning is that I have the flu, which might be the case. Between a little bit of phlegm, the fever, and the achiness and everything. Hi, Kitty. Still going strong. Just made some more fruit juice for the morning, so I felt a lot better once I had that. I will say, third day is where the desire for food has really set in. It doesn't help that my dad makes a mean stew, and that was just wafting throughout the house. But just different things made me just unconsciously, like I'm going towards getting a snack, and I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm not doing that. A couple things on the books, but so today I have pickup rehearsal for the play that'll happen this weekend, and I drop my son off with his mom, and I'm picking out ballet shoes. So in all that, I need to find some time or spend with God. Little purr monster. Kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Mwah. He loves me. He's so fluffy. Alright, we are 112 hours in. So, yeah, Friday morning, I have to go to work.
XM reserves 55%.
Thanks to a little bit of Tylenol in the morning and a late start, hopefully it should be alright. Once again, wandering through grocery stores. Fun's gonna start tonight when I go in for my performance tonight. We're gonna have 3 performances this weekend. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, so fasting was completed. Back to eating, which was not as satisfying as I expected it to be. I mean, it was sustenance, it was sustaining, but I was good. I was like, it's alright. I had to slowly work back into eating, because my stomach, I guess, it shrunk. End result of all this, though, is that I need to write a book. So I guess watch out for the second greatest commandment, I think is what I'm going to call it. I just hope, for this can be posterity, maybe helpful or encouraging to someone who's thinking about doing it. It's definitely an experience, and not to be entered into lightly or unprepared. But I wish you luck in whatever it is you may wish to pursue in that realm. God be with you.